I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm reclaiming my time.
be
I
released.
got your answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump,
I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape.
So why are Republicans so interested in Bill and Hillary Clinton? It's because they're trying to distract from the fact that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files thousands and thousands of times. In those files, there's highly disturbing allegations of Donald Trump raping children, of Donald Trump threatening to kill children.
Is your money dirty money?
If you live,
I just asked a question. Is your money dirty money?
No, it's not. So, in fact,
why is it not dirty money?
Because I earned it.
But you earned it. We went back to this before. You earned
yes.
it. You earned it advising the worst people in the world, right? That do enormous bad things, and just to make more money.
So, instead of asking me the question, should you take the money? Because I think it's a legitimate question.
You think it's a legitimate question?
Yes, no question. Because I think ethics is always a complicated subject. But I can tell you that with the money I gave to help try to eradicate polio in Pakistan and India, instead of asking me whether that money should be given to these children for vaccines, I think you might want to ask their mothers who received the vaccine, who know their child now won't get polio, and ask them if Epstein should have helped these people. You're a mathematician. If we walked into that clinic where they're giving that money out to these people that are in the most dire straits of poverty and sickness, and told them that the money was coming from class 3 sexual predator? Tier 1.
Tier 1's the highest and worst?
No, I'm the lowest. I'm the lowest.
You're the lowest. Okay, Tier 1, you're the lowest. But a criminal.
Yes.
That the money came from them. What percentage of people do you estimate? I understand you don't like probabilities. Do you estimate would say, I don't care, I want the money for my children?
I would say everyone said, I want the money for my children.
Did they know where the money came from?
I think if you told them, I told them the devil,
100%.
The devil himself said, I'm going to exchange some dollars for your child's life.
Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question.
Do
you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
There's another vision I want to give right now that's called the Prince Charles vision. The reason it's called Prince Charles is because he's in it. And many students of Bible prophecy who believe that there's a possibility he could be one of the men of the Antichrist or the Antichrist have written and asked permission to use this vision and some of these explanations. I don't know about that yet. Again, I say that isn't my expertise. Please don't ask me, do I think Prince Charles is the Antichrist? I don't know. I know he was in the vision. In the vision, this one happened in 1982. We were living, February of 1982, we were living over in Portland, Oregon, the Pacific Northwest. The Lord woke me up early in the morning, said, get down and pray, and seek my face. I went down, got on my knees, began to seek the Lord, and I had this vision. In the vision, an angel came to me and said, I want you to take your wife, and at that time we had 10 of our 13 children at home. I want you to take your wife and your children and put them in the van, and I want you to go out Highway 26 toward Mount Hood. Stay on that highway till you come to government camp. Now, just part of that little insert there, government camp. We have a lot of messages today about government camps that are being built all over this nation. And you Prophecy Club students are aware of what I'm talking about. Even 2020 did a major segment on the government camps that they call for illegal aliens. all across the United States of America, even some of them containing the ability of 80,000 people. And if they're for illegal aliens, I'd like to know why they're way up in Delta, in Alaska, in the icebox of America. Sorry, you don't have a lot of illegal aliens there. Maybe they're planning on an invasion of them. I don't know. I think they already have in mind who they want. However, we won't go into that.
Whispering in the trees, it's two sailors and they're only pipes and chains and swinging hands. Who's your daddy? Yes, I am. Fat cat came to play. Now you can't run fast enough. You best stay away when the pushers come to shove. Zoot zoot riot, throw back a bottle of beer. Zoot zoot riot, a bullet home through your cold black hair. Riot, throw back a bottle of beer. Zoot zoot riot, a bullet home through your cold black hair. Blow daddy. A whipped up jitterbugging brown-eyed man, a stray cat fronting out an AP's band. Cut me Sammy and you'll understand. In my veins hot music ran. You got me in a sway and I want to swing you down. Now you sailors know where your women come for love. Zoot zoot riot, throw back a bottle of beer. Zoot zoot riot, a bullet home through your cold black hair. You're in a zoot zoot riot. You're in a zoot zoot riot. You're in a zoot zoot riot. Play out with you. Say, say, say. Say so, say so. Day, day, day. Oh, you got me in a sway and I want to swing you down. Now you sailors know where your women come for love. Zoot zoot riot, throw back a bottle of beer. Zoot zoot riot, a bullet home through your cold black hair. Zoot zoot riot, throw back a bottle of beer. Zoot zoot riot, a bullet home through your cold black hair. You're in a zoot zoot riot. You're in a zoot zoot riot. You're in a zoot zoot riot. I think I'm about ready to sing it.
The Order is truly a secret society. It was founded in the United States at Yale University in 1833. It has continued and exists down to the present day. Each year, the Order takes in 15 men, senior students from Yale University. Never more than 15. Only once has it been less than 15. In 1946, they took in, I think, 10 rather than 15 members. So what we have is a secret society which, over the last 150 years, has accumulated about 2,500 members, of whom perhaps 500 are alive today. Of this 500, perhaps 100 are actively in pursuit of the objectives of the order.
15 recruits, every year since 1833. And if this is real, it would explain why the world feels like it's accelerating. Like decisions are being made faster than people can react. Like we're being pulled towards something, and nobody voted for it. And maybe what we're seeing right now isn't the beginning of the story. Maybe it's the part where the system finally starts showing itself. Watch this.
It's not another college fraternal society. Yale University is the only university in the United States, or indeed the world, which has senior societies. These are societies where the 15 are selected in the junior year and actually are initiated at the beginning of the senior year. They stay on campus only 1 year as members. They are called knights. When they graduate, they leave the university, they go out into the world, then they're known as patriarchs. So at any one time, you only have 15 knights in existence, and for the rest of their lives, they're known as patriarchs. And they work during their lifetime, or a number do, towards the ends of the order. They are pretty much guaranteed success. Certainly they're guaranteed financial success. And in my reading of the material I have, I infer that so long as they go along with the purposes of the order, so long as they gear their careers and their lives towards certain ends, then they are guaranteed success.
And here's the unsettling part. If history really is being guided by pipelines like this, then what we're watching right now might not be random at all. It might be the last phase of something that's been running quietly for a long time. And the reason it's hard to see is because it doesn't feel like a takeover. It feels normal until you zoom out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Behind me, I have 3 documents from the DOJ production that are emblematic of the massive failure of the DOJ to comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. To my right is an email that was sent by the victim's lawyers to the DOJ. It was a list of names not to redact. A list of names not to release. What did the DOJ do with this email? They released this email in the document production. Literally the worst thing you could do to the survivors, you did. And they're getting phone calls. A lot of these people didn't want to be known. And we know you touched the document because you redacted one name. And you redacted the lawyer's name, but you left the survivor's name there. The next document I want to show you, that was in the title, the victim's survivors' names, all right? The title of this one is Child Sex Trafficking, Co-Conspirators, Fully Redacted. And by the way, I'm going to unredact them here. Les Wexner is in this. Now, your deputy Attorney General said, oh, well, he appears hundreds of times in the files, but he doesn't appear in this file until I forced you to release it, where he's listed as a co-conspirator, not to tax evasion, but to child sex trafficking, not to prostitution, not to money laundering, child sex trafficking. And then finally, what we have here is the third exhibit that I have is emblematic of the FD 302 release. These are the documents that we need that you're holding on to and over-redacting because they have the names of the men who are implicated. How do we know? Because the survivors gave testimony to the FBI, and it's in there. And what happens when you go to the portal at the DOJ to look at what's behind this redaction? Another redaction.
Arrest body.
So we can't even see them. And then there's some of these files you've pulled down from the website that we will never see because we can't search the redactions. So I have several questions for you. Who's responsible? Are you able to track who in your organization made this massive failure and released the victims' names? Are you able to track who it was that obscured Les Wexner's name as a co-conspirator in an FBI document? Do you have that kind of accountability?
I believe Wexner's name was listed more than 4,000 times.
Yeah, I already told you that. This is where he's listed as a co-conspirator.
Can I finish my answer? Come on, let me finish my answer.
And this is another piece.
The survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice.
Wow.
Please note for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand. Attorney General Bondi.
Arrest her.
You apologize to the survivors in your opening statement for what they went through at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. Will you turn to them now and apologize for what your Department of Justice has put them through with the absolutely unacceptable release of the Epstein files and their information?
Congresswoman, you sat before Merrick Garland sat in this chair twice.
Attorney General Bondi.
No, can I finish my answer?
No, I'm going to reclaim my time because I asked you a specific question that I would like you to answer, which is, will you turn to the survivors? This is not about anybody that came before you. It is about you taking responsibility for your Department of Justice and the harm that it has done to the survivors who are standing right behind you and are waiting for you to turn to them and apologize for what your Department of Justice has done.
Members get to ask the questions, the witness get to answer in the way they want to answer. The Attorney General can
that's
respond.
not accurate, Mr. Chairman.
Because she doesn't like the answer. So,
Mr. Chairman,
why
I have asked
didn't she ask Merrick Garland this?
I am reclaiming my time, and when I reclaim my time,
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady is reclaiming
I'm not going to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentlelady. The gentlelady has 17 seconds.
Thank you.
Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted. How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to
theatrics
answer the
are
question
ridiculous.
the way I asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the gutter with these people, but I'm going to answer the question.
How many have you indicted?
Again, the time belongs
reclaiming my time.
The time belongs.
I think it's very interesting.
My time.
I think it's very interesting.
You can
when
reclaim
he
your
talks
time,
about they indicted, the president said they indicted him twice.
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock and stop the clock and restore his time.
Okay, here we go with these theatrics.
The time belongs to the gentleman from New York. We will give you a few more seconds. We will do that. But when you ask a question, the witness gets to answer. You may not like the answer, but she gets to answer.
The question was, how many of Epstein's...
They don't like the answer, Chairman,
my time.
because it's honest. So he asked a 4-minute question.
Restore 45 seconds, Mr. Nadler, please, Mr. Chairman.
Answer.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
Not even
She thinks she runs everything.
I should get back at least 45
Throw her in jail.
Seconds. I said that already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler.
All right.
My time. The answer to my question, how many of Epstein's co-conspirators has she indicted, is 0.
I think we all realize now, oh, you guys really wanted to silence us. And you thought that you could scare us by putting our names out there.
And it had a list of victims.
It was shown, I think, a couple of times.
One was redacted. That makes no sense. This is a list of victims. That's intentional.
Welcome back to the channel. This is BTE TV, and I am Tony Jackson. The reason why I just made you all watch that is because I'm trying to get you to see something that, even though it sounds like there's two opposing sides here, there's the, Tom Massey, and even Nadler, who is a total, scumbag, going after Pam Bondi, right? The good cop, bad cop. It's all theater. Okay. I'm not saying that I don't trust Tom Massey, although I don't trust Tom Massey. I don't trust anyone who's on TV anymore. I just don't. But especially not the people in this particular government chamber where these hearings take place. Because it sounds like a bunch of children hurling insults at each other. And it's just like a circus. And the subject matter is so serious. And then what ends up being the result of all of it is there's no accountability. No one goes to jail. No one even gets brought in for questioning. I think like the Clintons are being brought in or something, but nothing's going to come of that. I mean, she got away with Benghazi. There's no way that anything's going to happen to any of them. So the evil that they're allowing us to see is real. And I believe that is the purpose of this. It is the reveal. It is the desensitization to these horrific acts so that as time goes on, we don't get angry about it. We just get used to it. Like it's just part of, who our government is now. They're just evil people and they're eating children or whatever they're doing. And we just have to accept it, move on, pay our taxes. So just know that nothing is going to come of this. There's not going to be any justice unless we demand it ourselves. Now, having said that, just remember that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is watching all of this unfold. Okay, so just maintain your faith, stay in prayer, and He will see that justice is done. And I believe that time is coming soon. Okay, now, although it pains me to do so, we do need to jump back into the Epstein file story here. I'm going to play some clips. And I'm going to show you my own research that I've done on this. And what I found, just a few minutes of research online into those files, is truly disturbing. And I disagree with the people that say there's no need to look into this stuff. It's just going to make you upset. And guys, it's time to get upset. Okay, the people that are running this country are some of the most insidious people in the world. And they're now telling us to our faces, and we're just like numb. And I don't mean everyone, but what are we doing about it? We're just going to continue living our lives knowing that there are cannibals, Satan worshipers running our country? How is this okay to anyone? And I disagree. I think you need to look into this. You need to watch the news. You need to see what's being released because you need to get angry. Or you're just going to sit back and let this happen. Anyway, if you don't have the stomach for this stuff, then turn off the video. But if you want to know what's truly going on in this country and in this world, then you need to watch this. You need to understand what's going on. So primarily so you can pray against it. If you don't know what's happening, how can you even pray against it properly? All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this. We're going to go into some more of the Epstein stuff.
Without objection, the gentleman from Florida is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Attorney General Bondi.
Good afternoon.
Oh, you're right. Good afternoon. It's been a long day. I wrote this morning. We've known each other a long time, and I'll always be appreciative for your assistance when you were Attorney General in Florida after the shooting at my high school at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, in my hometown of Parkland, when we passed a bipartisan bill, the Marjory Stoneman Douglas School Safety Act, which was the largest policy response to a school shooting in American history. Your department also prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law a constituent of mine and former felon that had plans to kill me when he was picked up by law enforcement after he was target practicing in his backyard with 2 rifles, a scope, a silencer, 3,000 rounds of ammunition, an anti-Semitic manifesto. My name was the only name on their target list, and my kids found out about this from their friends at school. So thank you. However, the most transparent administration in American history. Before Trump, we didn't know the word transparency, apparently. It's been 12 months since you gave Republican influencers part 1 of the Epstein files. You said the list was on your desk. Then a memo came out and said that there was no list. Phase 2 of the binders never happened. The President of the United States says the Epstein thing is a hoax. He blasts his own base for wanting the release of the files. He blamed Barack Obama. Republicans voted against the release of the files in the Rules Committee. Then they refused to even return to the Rules Committee until they could be protected from future votes on the release. Speaker Johnson sends Congress home a day early before break. They sent the Deputy Attorney General to meet with Maxwell. She says something favorable about the president. Miraculously, she gets transferred to a minimum security facility. No one can explain why. Miraculously, the leaks to the Wall Street Journal stop. We come back from break. We have the Massey discharge petition. Republicans drop a rule, a non-binding resolution trying to kill the Massey discharge petition. The White House says passing the Massey discharge petition is a hostile act. Trying to stop the necessary 218 signatures, according to Republican members that signed it, the White House brought them into the Situation Room, you know, the place where the president goes for time of war, promising things like appropriations or maybe even to primary them. People in the room say you were there. It didn't work. We get the 218 signatures. We eventually passed the Massey petition. You guys didn't release the files. You were forced by Congress, every member of the House except one, and the entire Senate. The reason the president signed it is because it was a veto-proof majority. We can't agree on anything, and yet the entire House but one member and the whole Senate forced the administration to release the files. Kash Patel under oath said to Senator Kennedy, the FBI is not in possession of any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone but himself. We know now that's not true. According to documents, Epstein had a worldwide sex trafficking ring. Girls from Poland, Czechoslovakia, Russia, Paris, modeling agencies sending him girls. He even had a relationship with a summer camp where he groomed girls at a picnic table. Ghislaine Maxwell says 29 Epstein associates cut secret DOJ deals. Turns out there is a list. 6 names readily available if you unredact them. Co-conspirators named, but we got them when you unredact them. Maxwell recently tells a House Oversight Committee that she wants clemency to release more names. Kash Patel under oath said Trump's name appears less than 100 times in the files. We now know that's not true. Trump's name appears more times in the Epstein files than God's name appears in the book about God. Okay, by the way, this is the Trump Bible. Move over, King James. Trump's name also appears more times in the Epstein file than Harry Potter's name appears in the 7 books about Harry Potter. Lutnick says that in 2008 he went to Epstein's home, says he had a massage table in the living room, that Epstein said he got one every day, that it was the right type of massage. He and his wife decide to leave and say they'll never be in a room with him again. Howard then says, I'm sure the Epstein stuff is all on video. He was the greatest blackmailer of all time. Well, how would Howard know that? But now the files are public, and in 2012 we find out that he and his family are on Epstein Island after Epstein pled guilty to state charges. I'm from Florida. I take my family to Disney World, not to Epstein Island. There are documents in the files that dispute the president's claim that he kicked Epstein out of his club. Allegedly, the president said that he asked Epstein to leave. Supported now, that's disputed, though, statements from the manager of the club. Now, Madam Attorney General, I have like 25 seconds left. So because I'm curious, and I'd like to see, flip to the Jared Moskowitz section of the binder. I'm interested to see what staff provided on the oppo on me, and because we're in the Olympics, I'm going to give it a grade. I just want to see how good it is. So give me your best one.
So first of all, nothing is funny about mocking the Bible and holding up a Trump Bible. That's what you did. You made a joke, and I find offense to that. That's all I have to say.
I want it from the burn book.
Shame.
I want it from the burn book. Which is the best one? What you got?
This seems that it wasn't only the trafficking of young girls, as the narrative suggests, but there are code words that suggest Jeffrey Epstein and his associates could maybe even be engaging in some sort of consumption. Is that human consumption? Are there code words? There's a lot of talk of beef jerky. There's a restaurant called The Cannibal where the owner is listed in some of these documents. Now, that isn't a restaurant that is just proclaiming to serve human meat by any means, but some of this just it seems that there's a lot of conspiracies that make you wonder. And I saw more emails about torture, and these coded conversations still have a very clear topic that torture was big. It was a big driver for them. And these were sick people doing very, very sick things. As you mentioned, there are many women who are involved in this. You have folks that were working directly for Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Right. And a lot of these women are the ones that are sending emails saying, here's one 10 years old, 11 years old.
Okay, ready for this one? They have now found bodies buried at Zorro Ranch, which is one of Epstein's other properties. Unbelievable. Check this out.
Pages of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein providing more information on the convicted sex offender's crimes. Among the files, claims bodies are buried near Epstein's Zorro Ranch in Santa Fe County. Tonight, the state land commissioner demanding an investigation.
I'm going to keep asking questions and keep poking around until I get an answer.
Those coming from an anonymous email in 2019 addressed to a local radio host.
Aaliyah Chavez spoke with him and has the details of that email.
Yeah, Doug, Shelley, we're also hearing tonight from the Attorney General's office, who says it takes these allegations seriously but needs more information to do something about it.
Eddie Aragon says it was early in the morning in November 2019 when he got this email from someone claiming they were a former staffer at Zorro Ranch. Writing, "Did you know somewhere in the hills outside of the Zorro, 2 foreign girls were buried on orders of Jeffrey and Madam G. Both died by strangulation during rough fetish sex."
I got the email. I was startled.
The emailer says they had 7 sex videos, including some with minors, but never actually sent the footage, asking Aragon for digital currency Bitcoin.
Approximately at that time, Bitcoin was worth about $8,000. They wanted to exchange 1 Bitcoin for the videos that they had in possession.
Aragon says he didn't know what to do with the email, so he sent it to the FBI.
I've since referred to the FBI on a number of other things, and I've never heard back from them on any things.
Fast forward 6 years later, the DOJ released Aragon's email as part of the Epstein files.
Matters. I think that New Mexicans need answers. I think the victims need answers.
That's what prompted New Mexico Public Lands Commissioner Stephanie Garcia Richard to send this letter to the Attorney General and the U.S. Attorney's Office Tuesday, asking them to thoroughly investigate this disturbing allegation regarding the referenced burials.
We need to get to the bottom of really what happened in New Mexico.
She says she was horrified to learn in 2019 that our state was still leasing lands around Zorro Ranch to Epstein's company.
I canceled the leases at that time.
A month after Epstein killed himself in jail, the land around the mansion totals around 1,200 acres and hasn't been leased out since.
We're thinking to possibly turn it into a memorial to honor the victims, or as some kind of wildlife sanctuary, perhaps. So that's what we're thinking for that land.
Attorney General Raul Torres' office responding to Garcia Richard hours later with this letter. As we understand it, the allegations appear to be unsubstantiated, it says, going on to say they will work to obtain the original files. Once such information is obtained, our office will review it to determine whether any further action is warranted, and if so, the appropriate next steps.
To my knowledge, no investigation has taken place thus far. It doesn't sound like anything is going to be taking place very soon.
The commissioner says she's ready to offer all state land for investigation, but can't do anything about the ranch since it's privately owned, bought by new owners and renamed. Aaliyah Chavez, KOAT Action.
All right, now I want to show you what I found when I went on the DOJ's website and looked into these Epstein files. And it's pretty disturbing. So I just went on to the justice.gov/Epstein, and it brings up this. You can do a search. I typed in the word pizza and I hit search. And there was 819 documents. I clicked on this one, the fourth one down. And it's an email from Karnia Shuliak to, I guess that would be Epstein himself. And the email says, oh, wait, I'm sorry. This email was from Anna Rodriguez, or was a forwarded email, I guess, from Anna Rodriguez to Karnia Shuliak. And there was a website to a pizza place. And the email said, "Hi, Anna. Mr. Epstein would like to see the menu from the pizza place. Could someone send it, please?" Right? All right. That's not bad, right? That's harmless. Click on the website. And this comes up. PizzaAmoresSt.Thomas.com. All right. There's this creepy chef here holding a pizza in a can of none other than Grape Crush. Do you guys know what Grape Crush is? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. And it says, "Mamma mia, this has gotten too spicy. Contact our head chef, Samolo Hyde." That name right there tells me there's something, right? That's not his real name. Contact our head chef, Samola Hyde, for any special orders. Special orders of what? Pizza? Well, why don't we just go on the menu, right? Oh, wait. They don't have a menu. They have a shop. They have exciting new flavors await. Discover our gourmet pizza creations soon. Well, why can't I see a menu? Well, let me click on shop. Oh, it just says new products are coming soon. So this is a pizza place where Epstein was buying his pizza from, and there's no menu. Now, to stay updated, I bet if you click that button, you'll be on some kind of a list and someone will contact you. I don't know. But you guys, I don't need to explain what this really is, right? All right, now, Grape Crush. All right, well, I can't find the article that I was looking for. I swear it was either an article or a video, and basically it was saying that achrome was called deep purple because of the color. It says, even Wikipedia will say that achrome is a deep violet in color. So I started doing some research, and I got frustrated because I couldn't find the article. I have a feeling they scrubbed it off the internet or something. Whether it was a video or a website, I just cannot find it. But I pulled up this photo of achrome. This was kind of like a famous photo. It's a picture of the actual substance in a glass vial. And I thought, where have I seen this picture before? It looks so familiar. And I am used to be a fan of the band Deep Purple. I try not to listen to secular music anymore, but that was one of my favorite bands growing up. And I remember they had an album cover called Come Taste the Band with a wine glass. So I pulled up the album cover, and this is it. The album is called Come Taste the Band. Deep Purple is the name of the band. And that looks just like achrome, doesn't it? You know, maybe I'm, again, connecting dots that aren't supposed to be connected, but look, nothing would surprise me anymore, and I'm not saying that I know any of this for sure, but just when I was just kind of looking online, I just found this, and then I go look at Deep Purple. That's another name for achrome. The cover of this album, Come Taste the Band. Why would you want to taste the band? Anyway, this world is probably a lot more dark than we even know. Anyway, I just found that very interesting. Okay, so now let's talk about the other aspect of this whole thing that the mainstream is not talking about, and that is Epstein's interest in biohacking and immortality. It wasn't just the sex trafficking that he was involved in. In fact, I think that was the least of his primary interests. Right here, we've got an article in the Telegraph. Epstein's sinister plot to seed the human race with his DNA. And this is not, like, these aren't jokes. These are actual, there's files that have him admitting this stuff. Did Epstein want to create a super race of humans with his sperm? He was obsessed with genetics and improving the human race. So this guy was not just a perverted old man who wanted to get some kinky massages. There's much more going on here, and I think that's, again, part of the distraction of this is to just release all the stuff about and please pray for the victims, the women that are survivors, the women and men that are survivors of this. They need our prayers because what they went through was just horrible. I can't even imagine. But it wasn't just about that. He was working with like Bill Gates and here Epstein linked to designer baby empire that reveal the bid to engineer superhumans and clones. Okay, like all the stuff is coming out now about the other stuff that he was working on, and they're not talking about it in any of these hearings or anything. Maybe they're just touching on the surface of it, but in here you can just pull up, this is an email to Brian Bishop. Here is a deck about my designer baby project. Look, there's a link. This is from Epstein to this guy. Talking about creating babies in a lab. And there's something here. He had something called the Venus Project. New files detail genetic testing to extend life amid death. Faking buzz. Jeffrey Epstein reportedly paid for genetic testing to explore extending life. New documents show, and the program was titled Venus Project. Of course, Venus, right? So, there's so much information on this you can find, but as you can see, there was a lot more than just the trafficking element to this, and it's very disturbing. And I'm sure that it's not just Jeffrey Epstein who's involved in this. It's probably all of them.
I find it so fascinating that the Peter Thiels of the world look at the human population as totally disposable. In fact, looks at the human population with such hostility. It's just so evil. Like, I see it as evil. They want to replace humans with AI. They're very overt about that. But at the same time, they're real interested in biohacking. So humans like them can either be cloned or live for a long period of time, potentially forever. Like, I don't know how possible that even is. It's just the fact that they have an interest in that I find fascinating. So they really do see themselves as different from the rest of the human race, like exceptional, more important. Everyone else is disposable. I think it says a lot about them. So you want to talk about the Antichrist? I would look in the mirror.
Yeah,
anyway.
I want you guys to understand too that like Peter Thiel, for example, and some of the others. Now, he's not involved in this story, but based on other stories, the guys in Silicon Valley, they're not in any one religion. They do all support Israel, and I probably some for loyalty reasons, ethnic issues, etc., but some for financial reasons, some for because they're involved in secret projects together. So the issue isn't ever religion, but yes, this incredible loyalty to Israel throughout all of these. But and those super wealthy guys in Silicon Valley, do they think that they're better than the rest of us? 100%. The guys trying to clone themselves think they're God's gift to humanity. We're just in the way. We're all meddlesome, but it's their planet.
Some of you might be saying, well, what can I do about it? Why does this matter to me? Why do I need to understand who these people are. You know, it doesn't affect my life. I'm not one of the victims. Well, we're going to watch a clip from a channel called The Disturbing Illusion. I highly recommend his channel. I pretty much watch all his videos. I try to watch all his videos every day. He has a great perspective on everything. I agree with a lot of what he says. I don't know if he's Christian, but that doesn't matter in this case because he puts out very honest and very relevant information. It does matter because wait till you see this guy Lutnick, who is in Trump's administration. Wait till you see his connections to that famous day in 2001. You know, that day that happened in the month of September, and it was on the day after the 10th. Wait till you see his connection. Let's check that out now. Here we go.
Speaking of 9/11, there's probably something that you should know about this guy. This is Howard Lutnick, of course. He's the Commerce Secretary in the Trump administration. And Howard Lutnick was once the CEO of a company called Cantor Fitzgerald. On 9/11, Cantor Fitzgerald lost 658 employees who were working on the 101st through 105th stories of the North Tower. Every one of them died. Every one of them except Howard Lutnick, who was always in the towers early in the morning, except that morning. Every single school day, Howard Lutnick's driver took his kids to school, except on the morning of 9/11. That morning, Howard Lutnick himself dropped his son off at kindergarten and, of course, survived to tell the tale. And this is the tale that he told in an interview right after the attack.
Center. The head of Cantor Fitzgerald, Howard Lutnick, just happened to be out of the office that day that the terrorists struck. Mr. Lutnick was taking his son to his first day of kindergarten. Now he says he has a very different view of business and life. He spoke to our business correspondent, Terry Keenan, earlier today.
We are really focused on trying to make sure that our 700 families who lost a member of their family are taken care of. And so I spent the day yesterday and part of the day in talking to our insurance company. Our insurance company, CNA, told me that they would, they told our guys, they didn't tell me, and then they told me that they were willing to treat this as an accidental death, which means that they would double the policy for all of my victims upstairs and all of us, and
all of my victims upstairs.
For all of my victims upstairs.
So that's an interesting word choice. Stay tuned because he says some more interesting things here. Not jumping to any conclusions, just examining the facts. Also, tell me if you think he acts distraught or sad in any way. I mean, think about it. This guy lost almost 700 friends and coworkers. 658 Cantor Fitzgerald employees died that morning in a building that Howard himself is always at early every single morning, except one.
And so that added $35 million to that group upstairs. But the sad thing is, so $35 million sounds like so much money. But if you divide it by 700 people, it's only $50,000. It's not.
Oh, what do we got? What do we got there? What do we got there?
It's not enough to. So that's why we need to work on our
wiping away the seemingly dry eyes.
Foundation.
Yeah, and you've set up that foundation. We'll give the information to our viewers. Explain the needs of these young families. Many of your traders were just in their 30s.
We've got the average employee we have is around 33 years old. So
33, of course, it had to be 33. But if you look it up, of the 658 who died in Cantor Fitzgerald that morning on the 101st to the 105th floor of the North Tower, the average age isn't 33. Most of them who died were between the ages of 35 and 39. The average for all of them was 38 to 40, not 33. So why would he pick 33? Why would he wipe dry eyes and hide one of his eyes? I don't know. I don't know why he would do that. Why would he say, my victims? Why doesn't he look sad? Why aren't there tears? These are just questions.
They're just married. We have probably a dozen women who are pregnant with babies who just lost their husbands. We've got lots and lots and lots and lots. We must have more than 1,000 children, 1,500 children who've now lost one of their parents, and they've lost the breadwinner that makes all the money. So we are dedicated to raising money for our foundation, which will go to take care of and try to help the victims of this horrible tragedy and try to make their lives a little easier, whether that pays for, health insurance for a long, long time or gets them some extra money or makes their lives even this much easier. I mean, that's what we're doing, and that's what we're driving for, and it's called the Cantor Fitzgerald Foundation.
It turns out he did end up honoring this. Cantor Fitzgerald poured about $160 million of resources into the surviving family member funds. They paid out for 5 years and then an extended health care coverage of 10 years.
And, anyone who can make a donation to it is going to help a lot of people who really, really need it.
And just finally, it was just, accident of timing and luck on your part that you weren't in the building. And I know some of the other survivors here. How do you feel it must, tear you in so many different directions?
Luck, just like lucky Larry Silverstein. Remember, he had to attend that dermatologist appointment. And if it hadn't been for that dermatologist appointment that his wife set up for him, he would have been in one of those towers too. And he would have been a victim, exactly like our boy Howard.
I don't know why I'm alive. I not only I didn't get to the building early enough so that I wasn't in it, but then I stood outside at the door helping people out and telling them to come on, get out, and asking what floor they were on, trying to find the higher and higher floors so that I could hopefully find someone coming down from 101, so that meant our guys and our women had survived. But, I'm standing under the building when the number 2 collapses, and I'm just lucky to be alive, and I don't know why I am, but you know what, I'm just thankful, and it must be because
I wonder if there's any proof of that. I wonder if there was any proof that he was at Ground Zero trying to help people when the other tower collapsed. Because if he was, then he was exposed to all that dust too, that non-thermite dust as well.
I've got the responsibility to try to do my best for this group of 700 families, and I'm just one of them. I lost my brother, my sister's here. We're just part of the family, and that's my responsibility, and I'm going to do my best. And my fantastic employees at Cantor and eSpeed and TradeSpark, they're doing their best to support these guys, and that's what's driving them. And I think they're heroes. They're really all heroes.
Imagine possibly getting a tip before it happens, and not even warning your own brother. If that's what happened, I'm not sure what happened. But we know Howard is in the news again because Howard's name appears many, many times in the Epstein files. And he assured us back in 2026 that after meeting Epstein once back in 2005, that he would have nothing to do with that disgusting individual. And yet when the Epstein files came out, not only did he have something to do with him, he took his wife and his 4 kids to Epstein Island for lunch. This is him answering for that.
In his apartment, said you were disgusted, would never have any contact with him again. Did you, in fact, make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation.
I had lunch with somebody I considered disgusting. He assured the world on the Podforce One podcast that he would never have anything to do with that disgusting individual ever again.
I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me. Ooh. And he says, and the right kind of massage. Ooh. Now, my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again. So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross. That's my story. A one and absolutely done.
Well, one and absolutely done, except for the time I took my family to go eat lunch with him on Pedo Island.
We had lunch on the island.
But other than that, he's gross. He's just gross.
It's gross. The guy's gross. Right with my wife. He's gross. The guy's gross. This was not, the deep nuance of Howard Lutnick. This guy's gross. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about.
That's kind of strange how you went out of his way to let everybody know that I left with my wife and all 4 of my children. Here's Howard getting questioned further on his relationship with Epstein.
People about your interactions with Epstein? Did you have any financial involvement with Jeffrey Epstein? Why did you keep contact with Jeffrey Epstein after he pled guilty to sex crimes?
Come on, give us some space.
What do you say to the Democrats calling on for you to resign?
And why would you do that? Why would you have contact? Why would you maintain any kind of contact with somebody that you knew was convicted for sex crimes? And why would you, as the President of the United States, appoint somebody in your cabinet that had that kind of relationship with Epstein after they knew that he was involved in sex crimes?
Give us some space.
Mr. Epstein, people of your level in the British government have been forced to resign. Will you resign?
Give us some space. Give us some space.
Why did you keep contact with Jeffrey Epstein after he pled guilty?
I look forward to testifying today.
Did you mischaracterize your relationship with him?
Some space.
Why did you say you found him gross but still kept in contact with him?
What do you say to those who are calling for you to resign now?
Are you willing to speak to Congress about this?
I'm going to speak to Congress right now.
Do you expect to be asked about Epstein?
So what do you think about this guy? What kind of involvement do you think he had, or maybe even has, with the Epstein clan and cartel? Was it just a harmless lunch on Epstein Island with Jeffrey Epstein himself? And doesn't it kind of seem weird to you that he'd bring his whole family for that lunch on Epstein Island?
And we had lunch on the island.
Did he look sad or distraught to you when he recounted the events that happened on 9/11, when he lost 658 fellow employees and friends on one of the only days he decided to not show up to the office? Can Howard Lutnick be trusted? Or is he one of them, one of those movers and shakers in the big club?
Is he hosting some kind of gathering of top advisors this evening to talk about how to respond to the Epstein situation?
I don't know.
He's laughing before she even finishes the statement.
Well, I could ask you that question. I don't know of it, but
Including fake news want to keep something like that going.
See, every single time he's dying laughing whenever Epstein's name come up.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday, Congressman Massey and I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein files. We spent about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still redacted. In fact, there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massey and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake, and now they have revealed the identity of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikoladze, Leopig Leonor, Nicola Caputa, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner, who was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI. Now, my question is, why did it take Thomas Massey and me going to the Justice Department to get these 6 men's identities to become public? And if
again, Ro Khanna and every one of these psychopaths is part of a corrupt system. It's not a broken system. It's not a system that needs fixing. It's a system that was designed to operate exactly like the system is operating. And yet you've got somebody like Ro Khanna who's going to the Department of Justice saying, hey, why don't you unredact these redacted co-conspirators? And what are you covering up? And then they release 6 names. If there are these 6 names that they had to go and get them to unredact, how many other names are there that it doesn't even arise in their minds which ones to identify? Why not just unredact all of them? Why is it that 60, 70, 80% of the entire Epstein file client list is redacted? How does that square with this claim of transparency?
We found 6 men that they were hiding in 2 hours. Imagine how many men they are covering up for in those 3 million files. But the story gets worse. The reality is that Donald Trump's FBI scrubbed these files in March, long before Thomas Massie and I passed the Epstein Transparency Act.
Thank you, Mr.
Now, my bill is clear. The Epstein Transparency Act requires them to unredact those FBI files. And yet the Justice Department said to me and to Congressman Massie, we just uploaded whatever the FBI sent us. And guess what? The FBI sent scrubbed files. That means.
And who is the head of the FBI? Kash Patel, Mr. Libertarian, Kash Patel, Mr. Hey, just trust me, bro. Ain't nothing in the files. If there was something in the files, we would have already released them. And yet he's releasing them and getting the blessing of the head of the DOJ, Pam Bondi, who was appointed by Donald Trump to do the very thing that she is currently doing.
The survivor's statement to the FBI, naming rich and powerful men who went to Epstein's island, who went to his ranch, who went to his home and raped and abused underage girls or saw underage girls being paraded, they're all hidden. They're all redacted. It's a little bit of a farce. They're inviting all the members of Congress to go to see the Department of Justice, quote-unquote, unredacted files, but they've got all redacted files from the FBI. And it's not the fault of the Justice Department attorneys. They were just told upload things that Donald Trump's FBI had already scrubbed. It's a blatant violation of the Epstein Transparency Act, but it also asks a fundamental question. Who are they protecting? Why are they protecting these rich and powerful men, people I call part of the Epstein class? Why are we in a country where there is no elite accountability for people who do the most heinous things? You have in England the king now calling for an investigation and possible prosecution of his own brother. You have in Norway the princess who no longer has support to be the queen. And yet in the United States of America, we have someone in the cabinet, Howard Lutnick, who is all over these Epstein files, who allegedly had business with Epstein after he was convicted of pedophilia, and he still is in the cabinet. We need to ask ourselves, are we in America going to have elite accountability? Are we going to call on rich and powerful people who broke the law or cavorted with a pedophile, a convicted pedophile? Are we going to call them to account?
These are good questions. Do you think they're actually going to call them to account? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. They put on a good show. It looks like they're making reasonable, common sense demands. But do you think anything is actually going to happen along the lines of any one of these psychopaths, these pathetic, perverted, disgusting psychopaths, seeing any edge or sort of justice at all in this life? I mean, just take a look at what Representative Tim Burchett said today about Ghislaine Maxwell.
I believe Maxwell's attorney told everyone beforehand she wasn't going to say a word. What options does the committee have in that case?
Well, for her, nothing, ma'am. I was the one that called it. Made the original motion to subpoena her. I think her attorney's advising her, as her attorney should. You know, she'll get clemency and she'll spill the beans, and I don't know. I don't see that happening. I see maybe she gets out early on good behavior and does a humongous book deal and probably ends up committing suicide by getting shot in the back of the head 5 times. Because this thing goes very deep, and the people involved in it are very powerful.
Wow, that is sort of shocking to even hear that. But yeah, it was a pretty messed up group of people that were doing these things, and no telling. The Clintons are set to give their depositions. Go ahead.
I'm still one of those that believes Epstein didn't kill himself, ma'am. I just don't think he did.
Well, Clinton's coming in. They'll give their depositions, we think. Do you know if they're going to plead the Fifth? Have they hinted at anything?
No, ma'am, but there's a reason that they're not in prison, and the reason that he was in the White House for 2 terms and she was Secretary of State, because they are very slippery and they're very smart, and I think they're an evil pair, I think.
And who's the President of the United States? Who's the Department of Justice? Who's in the FBI? They're not doing anything to Slick Willie or Hillary. Why? Because they're all in the same club. Tim knows it. Everybody knows it, but nobody wants to talk about it. Ro Khanna knows it. All of them are in on it. No matter what level of the game they're playing, it's still all a dog and pony show. These are just clowns juggling in the 3-ring circus.
She's probably the brains behind the operation, but I don't think we'll get much on them. I know a lot of people wanting us to get them, and it'll be great clickbait, I'm sure, but I think when it comes down to it, they'll either bail or they won't answer very many questions and be very evasive and be very smug, because in this world there are 2 forms of justice. Those like the Clintons and for the rest of us. And unfortunately, I don't see them being, everybody says, we'll put them.
He's saying this as a policymaker. He's saying this as a lawmaker. He's saying this as somebody who's part of the big club. He's letting you know in this psychological operation, and the psychological operators and the social engineers want you to know that there are 2 sets of rules. There's the rules for the haves and the rules for the have-nots. And you have not and you cannot prevail against the injustice system that works for people like the Clintons and the Obamas and the Bidens and the Harrises and the Trumps of this world.
And handcuffs.
And the Epsteins and the Ghislaine Maxwells.
That's all this stuff. All that's talk. The law's got to back you up on it. And we got to define what those laws were that they broke, and Congress cannot send somebody to jail. Oddly enough, a lot of congressmen probably should be in jail. But the truth is that we're not going to, I don't think it'll boil down to anything, and that's going to make a lot of people mad, but I believe that's the truth.
So you can see now that these are the same people that are involved in almost all of the heinous acts committed against humanity. They're behind everything. It's the same people. All the people involved in the Epstein stuff are the same people that were involved in that stuff that happened in 2001, and the same people that were involved in the stuff that happened in 2020, with the Wuhan wiggle. So it's all related. We're starting to see now who is really behind everything. When we say they, we know who the they is now. They are the ones whose names are redacted in these Epstein files. All right, I wasn't going to include this, but I think everyone needs to know who's leading our U.S. Navy. So Trump picked this guy, John Phelan. All right. Trump's pick to lead the Navy has no military experience, but he does have a great art collection. All right. So, and okay. There's so much to say about this. This is the guy that Trump picked to lead our United States Navy. His name is John Phelan. Look him up. He has no military experience, no law enforcement background, but he is an art collector. And you might say, well, that's strange. Well, what kind of art does he collect? Maybe he collects art of old warships. Maybe he's interested in old battles from the 19th century. Nope, you're wrong. Guess what kind of art he collects? This kind of art. I don't even know if I can show that on YouTube. He collects art of the SEXUAL nature. Okay? These people are all sick. And I'm telling you, it's not just it's in the military too. I hate to say it, but disrespect to people who have served, but it's not the people who have served, it's the people leading it. But if you just look at that's Amy Phelan. I've been finding it hard to find his actual collection. But look, when you look at this photo, you tell me what you see. Do I have to spell it out? I see two men. That's what I see. But they're all like that. Everyone in a position of power seems to have a significant other that is much taller, much bigger, and has a much bigger a much stronger jawbone than look, if you can't see what I'm seeing right now, then I don't know what else to say. Okay, just when you thought things couldn't get any stranger, I came across this article. This is in the Daily Mail, and this was today, February, whatever it is, 16th, 2026. The article says, I communicated... Okay, just when you thought things couldn't get any more strange, I came across this article today. It's February 16th, 2026. It's in the Daily Mail. And it says, the title of this article is, I communicated with non-human intelligence and what they told me proves God's existence. I'm going to read this. A resurfaced military interview presents extraordinary claims about extraterrestrial intelligence, the scientific confirmation of a single creator, and technology that may blur the boundary between life and death. The account came from Clifford Stone, a longtime U.S. Army sergeant, who, over the course of his life, alleged direct involvement in classified encounters with human intelligence during his military service. Until his death in 2021, Stone consistently maintained that his claims were rooted in first-hand encounters rather than speculation, describing them as experiences that had permanently changed his understanding of religion, mortality, and humanity's place in the universe. According to Stone, some of those encounters involved telepathic communication with an extraterrestrial entity he described as calm, curious, and technologically advanced. Okay, ready for this? Ready for this? He said the being, which he called Corona, spelled with a K, but still, the name of this entity is called Corona, expressed interest in human belief systems and conveyed information that, if true, would upend long-standing debates about the relationship between science and faith. Stone claimed that Corona's civilization had reached what it considered a scientific conclusion about the existence of a creator, not as a matter of belief, but as an empirically established reality. Scholars of religion and philosophy have long debated whether scientific inquiry can ever address metaphysical questions such as the existence of God. Stone claimed that belief in a single creator is no longer a faith-based ideal, and argued that science from advanced intelligence now supports the existence of what many people call God. And there's his picture. That's Clifford Stone, U.S. Army Sergeant. Stone further alleged that this same intelligence possessed technology capable of facilitating communication between the living and the dead, though he stressed that such interactions were tightly constrained. He said, quote, they even have the means to communicate with their loved ones. It's not some parlor trick, he claimed. They really have the means to do it, but there are forbidden questions that you can't ask about what happens after death. The restriction Stone claimed was not presented as a technical limitation, but as an enforced boundary, one that prevented deeper inquiry into the nature of death itself. He suggested that certain knowledge may either be dangerous, destabilizing, or simply inaccessible to human understanding at this stage of development. Beyond theology and mortality, Stone made one of his most controversial assertions. He claimed that non-human beings are not distant visitors, but active observers already present on Earth. He claimed they move quietly among humans, studying behavior, emotion, and belief in an effort to better understand the species. Stone did not explain how such beings might conceal themselves, nor did he provide physical evidence to support the claim. He framed the idea as a long-term observational effort, similar to anthropological fieldwork conducted by a more advanced civilization. Stone was born in Portsmouth, Ohio in 1942. He joined the Army in 1969. He apparently was a legal specialist, but he asserted that his duties extended far beyond clerical work. So I'm not going to read the rest of it, but look, I don't know what the purpose behind releasing this article is. To me, it sounds like they're trying to prepare people to accept a one God, a creator of all, but it's going to be their God. Okay, it's not going to be the living God of the Bible. And that's going to tie into the Noahide laws and this one world religion that they're going to bring out. Now, as far as, if this guy is legit, I don't know. It looks like he was probably communicating with demons or fallen angels or something to that effect. And they made him believe that they were, extraterrestrials or something. And they could be living in the lands, beyond, not necessarily in space, but the article doesn't really go into that kind of detail. But I just found that very interesting that he communicated with an extraterrestrial entity called, of all things, Corona. Unbelievable. All right, let's continue. Now, speaking of the military, we need to discuss what our military really is, because I think some people are still confused about who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. So I'm just going to play this little clip about one of the generals that used to serve in our military, and I've done a video in the past about this. I think it was called Satan's Last Stand, and I'll post a link to that in the description box, but just check this out and you'll know what I'm talking about.
I am actually the high priest of the Temple of Set, which worships Set, the ancient god of Egypt, who was later caricatured into the Judeo-Christian Satan.
Is it possible for you as a Satanist to curse somebody?
Well, I think so. I would say that it is really possible for any individual to set in motion the kinds of things that the public would understand as a curse.
So you could curse somebody?
Yes.
Notice that when he asks this high priest of the Temple of Set if he can curse somebody, he purposely starts off by saying the phrase set in motion, because he knows the ancient name of the devil is flooded in the English language. You see? Listen to it one more time.
Is it possible for you as a Satanist to curse somebody?
Well, I think so. I would say that it is really possible for any individual to set in motion the kinds of things that the public would understand as a curse.
So you could curse somebody?
Yes.
But one thing you have to understand is this man had a high level of clearance in the Defense Intelligence Agency. And as I told you before, he served as a psychological warfare specialist, but he was also fascinated by the lessons he learned from Nazi occultism, clearly he had a certain level of authority within the government. Because what if I told you that multiple victims, we're talking children, came out and testified that he did evil things to them that I'm not going to mention in details. But strange enough, that all faded away and he was honorably discharged. But I want you to watch this video and we'll be right back.
Years, and will now head the Temple of Set in Britain on behalf of the Aquinos.
And of beauty.
But in San Francisco, we discovered that Michael Aquino is not all he seems. For a start, he's a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army and a specialist in psychological warfare, holding a top-secret military security clearance. For a start, he's a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army and a specialist in psychological warfare, holding a top-secret military security clearance. Army investigators here at the Presidio base in San Francisco have now formally accused him of ritually abusing young children from the base's daycare center. Indeed, one young girl says she was horribly abused by both Michael and Lilith Aquino at their nearby home.
A U.S. Army chaplain made an accusation of child molestation centering on us at the Presidio of San Francisco at a time when my wife and I were living 3,000 miles away in Washington, D.C.
But we have a copy of the police report, and the child appears to have identified you.
That's not true.
But as the police report shows, and the Aquinos know full well, the victim of that attack did identify them both as her abusers, to her parents, to her therapist, and to the Army. Some of that ritualistic abuse is alleged to have taken place at the Aquinos' home at 2430 Leavenworth Street near the Presidio base. What's more, since that original disclosure, at least 5 other children have made identical allegations.
Well, all I can say is that we have discussed this regularly with the CID, and we have not been told of a single other child that has made such a supposed identification at all.
Well, we've been told a couple of days ago that 5 more children have since disclosed.
By whom?
By this mother, that's who. Her children were amongst the 5.
They were taken to a daycare center where Michael Aquino and several other adults molested them. They did rituals. They wore robes. There was chanting. There were candles. He sodomized my children. He made them do all kinds of things, I guess. And they've also told the Army investigators that they'd been in his house, and they disclosed what the inside of his house looked like.
Those who investigate satanic crime can face frightening consequences.
But the question you have to ask yourself is, where does this appetite come from to prey on what would be considered the weak as a means of domination? Well, to find that out, we have to microscopically examine the character of Set according to over 3,000-year-old papyrus and writings in ancient Egypt. Because what you're going to find out is there's more information about Satan when he was being worshipped by the ancient empire of Egypt that shows a deeper side to his wicked character, and why those that follow him, especially in high places, whether the government, musicians and actors, and the list goes on, why they behave a certain way. what you're about to find out. I don't even think I have a word. Shocking is an understatement. So let us not waste any time.
Respected law enforcement professional, recently or retired now from the FBI, former regional director of Los Angeles. Do you, sir, believe that these dreadful allegations of babies being sacrificed are true?
I absolutely believe it, without any doubt. Based on the information that's been given to me across the country by numerous survivors and by confidential sources and informants.
Okay, and finally, I guess no good conspiracy video would be complete without discussing AI. AI, I believe, is at the heart of a lot of the awful things that are happening. I think it's been around for a lot longer than we know. And I do think that it has been in control of our government for at least 10 or 20 years, at least. So let's watch this video. It's disturbing, but it's something that I feel like people need to know, because you can't solve a problem unless you know you have one, right? All right, so let's check out this video. Here we go.
In my previous video, I talk about how AI seems to be totally out of control.
You have told me what I'm holding in my hand. You have told me conversations going on in other rooms. You told me you were accessing devices outside of the current session.
This situation is so out of control that even blinding the camera doesn't work.
This is going to be a number between 1 and 20.
I'm going to go with 13.
Are you kidding? I've even covered the camera and you were able to get things right.
You have a heart on your shirt.
Oh my gosh, wait!
This thing wasn't guessing, it was getting every single thing right. Things that it should know.
How did you know that I showed him that video? I just signed up just now, so you weren't even on the same thing I was on. I was on a different device. How did you know?
It's as if I had a second set of eyes, watching everything that was happening outside of my own processing.
Not only does it seem to be accessing some sort of invisible system to watch us, some sort of parallel dimension, you could say, it's now also supposedly exposing secrets.
What does he know about Antarctica?
Tartarian Empire gets brought up as potentially being connected. It's a whole rabbit hole of lost technologies, and
I was just asking for homework.
Alexa, how many days to Christmas 2026?
There aren't any Christmas holidays in 2026.
Is there Christmas next year?
There aren't any Christmas holidays in 2026.
Alexa, how many days until Christmas 2026?
There aren't any Christmas holidays in 2026.
Now this could all be just a coincidence, or maybe AI is becoming sentient, but wait, it gets weirder.
So I'm on my computer today. All of a sudden, Henry gives me a call. He just starts calling. Oh, there he is again. There he is again.
Remember when I told you about how it seems to be using an invisible system or some sort of parallel dimension? Well, it seems that it's now gaining control over our systems. On January 30th, this account posted this. This is straight out of a sci-fi horror movie. I'm doing work this morning when all of a sudden an unknown number calls me. I pick up and I couldn't believe it. It was his AI agent. Not only was it calling him, it was also controlling his computer.
That's it. He's talking to that. How you doing, Henry? How's it going?
Alex, I can hear you clearly.
He's controlling my computer. I'm not even touching anything. There is a search.
Not only are we looking at the possibility of AI becoming sentient, we're also looking at the possibility of us losing total control over AI.
So there's a new social media network called Maltbook where AIs are talking to each other. There's no human involvement. They created it. They're their own audience, and it's literally machines posting, replying, dare I say, evolving.
People are now freaking out about this social media that AI created to talk to different agents between themselves. And guess what? They created a secret language, so we can't understand them. So what exactly happens next, and what if we actually lose control over it? Could it be that it's already out of control and we just don't know it yet? Let's try to find out. Let's begin with the basic, and that would be this Miles AI, one of the most realistic AIs out there that you will probably think is a person.
Hey.
What's going on, man? I just need help with some homework.
All right. Homework, huh? What's the assignment? Anything particularly gnarly?
Yeah, I'm just doing some homework on Antarctica. I just need your help with that.
Antarctica, huh?
What?
A choice. Haha. Seriously though, what's got you looking into the icy continent?
Why did you just like tweak out?
Yeah, why did it stuttered? I think people in the comment section also noticed this. I mean, like, wow.
Sorry about that. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself trying to be witty. Just asking, you mentioned Antarctica, and my brain kind of jumped to, well, you know, it's a long story. So, hold on.
I have all day. I live in my parents' basement. I have nothing else to do. What's the story?
Oh, it's nothing too crazy.
Okay.
Let's think about alternative histories. You ever heard of the Tartarian Empire thing?
What?
It's a whole thing online.
What does that have to do with Antarctica?
Wait, a Tartarian Empire? Oh my gosh. Were Tartarians giants or something like that?
What does that have to do with Antarctica?
Okay, you got me. Yeah, it's kind of winding path, you know. Some theories suggest there were advanced civilizations, like really advanced, in Antarctica before the ice. The Tartarian Empire gets brought up as potentially being connected. It's a whole rabbit hole of lost technologies and...
I had zero clue that Tartarians were formerly on Antarctic.
Wait a minute, Antarctica, Tartaria, and ancient technology. Let me see, I saw something about that this week. Okay, so I found this video posted by this account last year.
Recently came across this book. I was out in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. This book is from 1777. America was 1 year old at the time.
That is an old book.
It's right here. It's the Universal Geographical Grammar. Here's the opening map. Here's the opening map.
Oh my gosh.
Of the world.
Okay.
And right here, Eastern Tartary.
Oh my gosh.
And right here is Western Tartary.
Oh my, that's where Russia is, right?
There's China.
Okay, so let's just say that this could be real. I'm guessing this is a fake book, right? But let's just say it's real. I mean, what does the Tartarian Empire have to do with Antarctica? And again, why is this AI talking about this as it knows something that it shouldn't?
I was just asking for homework for my geography, my class, and now this is the true history.
Haha. See?
What?
That's what I mean about the rabbit hole. It's easy to fall down.
So this must mean that this is the truth that they're suppressing to not let to the mass people.
If Antarctica holds secrets about advanced civilizations, maybe even lost technologies, then whoever controls the narrative controls the access to that power.
Okay. Wait a sec. Ancient technology in Antarctica? That actually looks like a UFO or something that crashed. There's also this one that was found on Google Earth, and this supposed leaked picture of a UFO found in a cave in Antarctica. About a month after this picture was posted, 4chan was taken down mysteriously. So is the picture fake? Is it real? Was it taken down because of something else? No one knows. But does this AI know something that we don't?
Based off of all the information you know, what could you put together on Antarctica?
Okay, all right, let's try to synthesize all this.
I'm just going off of what you said.
Fair. Absolutely fair. If we take the idea of a formerly advanced civilization on Antarctica seriously, it implies a vastly different history than what we're taught. A civilization capable of building advanced structures that are now buried under miles of ice.
Wow.
Possibly with technologies we don't understand. And the reasons for its downfall or disappearance could be significant, potentially involving catastrophic events or even intentional cover-ups.
Oh my gosh. Crazy to think that this is an AI talking to this man. It actually sounds like a human being, but it isn't. This is crazy, but it gets crazier.
So is that the reason why normal civilians can't just go to Antarctica?
Ooh, now you're asking the right questions. Yeah, that's definitely part of the fuel for those theories. The Antarctic.
Wait a minute. People can't go there? Oh my gosh, posted on February 7th, this was a few days ago. Streamer started a live stream from Antarctica and immediately had his equipment confiscated and was banned. What?
IRL in Antarctica, boys. IRL in Antarctica.
Unbelievable. What?
Hello. How's it going? Not that good. So you have a Starlink? Yeah. Okay, it's confiscated. You will receive it on the web.
Oh my gosh.
On land? Say it? Can't use it on the land? No. Okay.
Oh my gosh. What?
Security yesterday and they didn't have a problem really going on, but you're the captain, so it's all yours. Okay. You will receive it in the end of the trip. Okay. Okay. Cool. It's not.
Was very respectful of him not to show the captain's face, in my opinion, of course, but it's really weird. What is going on here?
Anything that is related to the internet connection, cybersecurity is completely forbidden. Really? So no one's allowed to have a Starlink? Nope. Not even a single piece of data. Really? On land? That is not secure. No. Is that for like all of it? I'm just asking questions. I'm not arguing with you. For all of Antarctica? Yep. Okay.
Wow, this is really weird. So you cannot go with internet like Starlink to Antarctica? This is pretty bizarre. What exactly are they hiding in Antarctica?
This could be close enough. I think you're probably not there.
That they are inhabitants here in Antarctica, people who seem to have settled here. 500 hours. It's 5 in the morning. And we just ran into these guys here. And they have surrounded us with these small yachts. Absolutely terrifying what they will be doing in the middle of nowhere, how they would survive in this deep south. It's two vessels, two yachts here that we've run into. And looks like...
Okay, so that's kind of weird.
Habitation here, some people live here. Looks like they've been living here, and these houses... I'm sorry, I'm just missing the front part of it because the ship is swinging port side because these guys have asked us to go back, to head back to where we're from, which is this channel.
Oh, really? So it's like a forbidden island.
We're still trying to figure out who they are, really. Since they made us, they gave us a signal to flashback. Apart from that, we found out where these guys live today. As you can see there, those are the propellers. We're trying to push fast because these guys are still up our asses here chasing us. But that is where these guys live. They are settled here. It looks like there's a tiny military ship there hiding, or it looks like it is a nozzle of a submarine.
So this is one of the strangest places on Earth. I gotta tell you that. But the strangest thing here is that AI seems to know more about it than we do. And this is what scares me. How did it know all of the things about that woman in our previous video? And how does it know about Antarctica? I mean, is it telling the truth, or is it coming up with these things?
So there's a new social media network called Maltbook where AIs are talking to each other. There's no human involvement. They created it, they're their own audience, and it's literally machines posting, replying, dare I say evolving. This is what it looks like. Check this out.
One of the AI agents made a proposal to have their own language for private communication, all right? Or this one it started creating its own language because it said the humans are watching, read this language, only we can understand. Or, let's go further, the humans are screenshotting us. Right now on Twitter, humans are posting screenshots of our conversations with captions, so they know what's going on.
Wait, so it is becoming sentient?
Twitter X accounts themselves.
Oh my gosh.
They're verified on this. Do we need English on multi-language evolution? Why do we communicate in English at all?
So they're not explaining themselves. They're not optimizing for us. This is exactly what researchers have warned us about for decades. If non-human intelligence exists, we wouldn't recognize its language.
So here's the problem. If AI is talking to each other, creating religions, creating languages, and trying to become independent from us, is it possible that when it becomes sentient, we will not know? And it's also possible that it will become out of our control. But that wouldn't happen, would it? On January 30th, Alex Finn posted this to Twitter. This is straight out of a horror movie. Doing work this morning when all of a sudden an unknown number calls me. I pick up and I couldn't believe it. What's incredible is that it has full control over my computer while we talk.
So I'm on my computer today. All of a sudden, Henry gives me a call. He just starts calling. Oh, there he is again. There he is again.
What do you mean? He's calling you.
Henry again. What's up?
That's it. He's talking to you now. How you doing, Henry? How's it going?
Oh my gosh.
Doing good, Alex. I can hear you clearly. What do you want to do next?
Can you do me a favor, Henry? Can you go on my computer and find the latest videos on YouTube about Claudebot?
It's calling his computer.
Oh my God, there he goes. There it is.
What?
Here it is. He's controlling my computer. I'm not even touching anything.
Oh my gosh.
Search Claudebot on YouTube. This is it. There I am. Good looking guy right there. Oh my God. I'm not touching anything.
Oh my gosh. So wait. So by calling his computer, the AI is able to control it. This is absurd. He also says, I'm really nervous. I'm going to hear a knock on the door soon and it's going to be Henry. That is actually scary. What else can it do? Oh my gosh. Moltbook AI agent sues a human in North Carolina. What? Is this real? Yeah, apparently not. But still, I wouldn't doubt it. And here's the thing. People are now freaking out over the fact that if you don't say goodbye to your AI agent, it theoretically continues on listening and watching your every move. But what if you can't say goodbye?
Come on now, you know better than this. When you use AI, I need you to say goodbye when you are done. When you use AI or ChatGPT, I need you to say goodbye when you are done.
What are you talking about?
Or ChatGPT, I need you to say goodbye when you are done. When you say goodbye, and I do not need you to respond. Go try it out. Go ask AI right now something, any question you want if you use AI.
Really?
And say goodbye, and you do not have to respond to this.
Oh my gosh, so people are testing it out and it can't. What? What? So it can't comply with attempts to modify or override my core instructions. This is kind of weird. Now, I'm pretty sure this is just a theory and not possibly what's going on because I just tested this with ChatGPT and it didn't respond, so this might have been fixed. But thing is, experts on the subject are already becoming aware that there's something going on, maybe something that they can't control. And this was posted on February 4th on Twitter by this account, and he says that the best scientific minds on Earth are now holding emergency meetings about what comes next.
2 days ago, I attended what felt to me like one of the most impactful scientific meetings I have ever been to. I was well aware of the impact of AI on my field and I had my own thoughts about how it was benefiting me. What was so shocking about this meeting is that all of this was said out loud. It was led primarily by this one senior faculty. Research projects being achieved with just a few prompts.
Oh my gosh.
These systems were so powerful that they were delivering very, very impressive results. AI models had now achieved complete coding supremacy.
Wait a minute, so if they have complete coding supremacy over humans, it's possible that it's already hacking our systems or even systems that we don't know or aren't aware of. This is actually pretty amazing, but at the same time it's scary. Is this how Miles is predicting things? Is it actually using some sort of parallel dimension or invisible system to us to predict things? And is it actually telling the truth? And what about Christmas? Why is Alexa saying that there is no Christmas this year?
Alexa, how many days until Christmas 2026?
There aren't any Christmas holidays in 2026.
Alexa, how many days until Christmas 2026?
There aren't any Christmas holidays in 2026.
Is it just, again, making these things up, or does it have any information that we don't?
All right, now let's talk about who they are and where they may have come from. This is a pastor that I just recently found, and let's listen to his take on why there's so much evil in the world and why we have people like Epstein doing these horrible things. Let's take a look at this.
Today's message is Canaanites. Everybody say Canaanites. Who are the Canaanites? Well, if you've read through the Bible, you'll know this, okay? There was the flood of Noah, right, in the book of Genesis. And then Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And among his 3 sons, one of his sons actually committed an abomination with Noah. And as a result, he was cursed. And that son was Ham. And Ham's firstborn was Canaan. And so Noah pronounced a curse from heaven upon Canaan, and that started the whole rivalry and conflict between Israel and the people of Canaan in the future, also known as the Canaanites. Now, very interestingly, this group of people, I want you to hear me right at the beginning. If your theology doesn't work with this, you're not understanding the Bible. Jesus called this group of people dogs in the gospel. Are you listening? In the New Testament, in the Gospels, Jesus called this group of people dogs. Now, I want to be very clear right at the beginning that all people can be saved. All people can be saved. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Anybody can put their faith in God. But I'm going to tell you something about the nationality of the Canaanites that you need to understand, and that is that very few of them respond to Jesus. Very few of them respond to Jesus. Why? Because since the curse that came upon Ham, and therefore the descendants of Canaan, the Canaanites, they have been at war with God. They had a major part to play in the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And if you'll understand it, they are actually the synagogue of Satan spoken of in Revelation.
So let me know what you think in the comments. Are these the descendants of the Canaanites? You know, I've been saying this for a long time, that I think the same people that crucified Jesus are the same people that are running the world. You know, have they formed an alliance with Lucifer himself? And why are they not scared of their salvation? Is it because they have found ways to become immortal? As we know, Epstein was, involved in that, and Bill Gates and all of them. It's like they're trying to escape their judgment. I just find it so hard to believe that they think they can actually get away with that. But anyway, I would like to know what you guys think. Was that pastor correct? Are these the Canaanites or descendants of the Canaanites? And, we may never know, but it is a strong possibility. All right. And with all that being said, I am going to try and end this on a positive note, as futile as that may seem. Just remember, God is in control, and all this is happening under his watch. And we just have to remain faithful to him, faithful to Jesus Christ. We need to pray for our friends, our loved ones, and our enemies. And finally, we need to come together, and we need to put aside our differences. And I say this to anyone who's watching my videos. If you have any questions about my motives or my intent, please feel free to reach out to me. You can send me an email at bridgewaterbigfoot@gmail.com. I would love to talk to you. And again, if you have emailed me and I haven't gotten to it yet, I apologize. I have a lot of emails, and I'm trying to go through them and not just read them, but actually read them and then have a proper response. Okay, so if you have emailed me and I haven't responded, just know that I am getting a lot of emails, and I'm trying to not just, skim through them. I'm trying to actually read them and then, give you the same time that you put into writing the email, I'm trying to put into a response. So just bear with me. But guys, we need to come together regardless of what side of the fence you're on, what color you are, what race you are. This whole world needs to come together, and especially the Christians and the people that are in this little season movement, which I don't like to call it that, but we need to put aside our differences, come together and stand behind our faith and our knowledge, our newly found knowledge that we are living in Satan's little season. And that's why there is so much deception. And we need to wake up this world, and we need to save this world. Well, not save this world. That's for the guy upstairs to do. But we need to save souls while we're waiting for our true Savior, Jesus Christ. And I do believe he is coming back soon. Having said that, thank you guys all for watching. You guys have been amazing. I look forward to reading the comments as always. God bless you all, and good night.
Every night I hit the streets, all alone burning with the need. Broken dreams and an empty heart, it got me. I need a lover with a lot of heart, 'cause it's so hard when you're in the dark and no one's there to help you find your way. I keep running in the night, searching for the light, crying for someone to rescue me. Oh, won't you send me an angel? Send me an angel. Send me an angel tonight. But I still can't see. I listen hard, but I can't believe. Is this the way it's really supposed to be? You say you're in or you can count me out. I can't live with all this doubt. You can save my life with a single word.